Well, so Derek, anything new since we last spoke? I guess it was
Yeah,
last Saturday.
yeah, thanks, Dustin. So I've put together a plan. I've reached out to a few different groups and trying to get on lists to connect with people. You suggested that I reach out to the group inside, so I am in the process of reaching out to people kind of to try and do one-off so I can learn what they need. So I can either feed that to them or I can, in a sense, partner with them. But one thing that like I don't want to tell you what to do or maybe a suggestion because of what you had said to me is
Yeah.
and I'll be like I have not underwritten a lot and I haven't done it fully through because I don't even have PropStream yet. Just been a tough couple of months, but I know that you talked about your cheat code, essentially, like when you look at a property, what's your quickest way into it or to decide if that is a good example or not. I don't have an example. I don't know if we just want to pull one out of a state inside the super investors group. And if somebody else has a pressing question, by all means ask. But I guess I'm just saying if you can give, your when I look at this deal and it comes across my table, this is how I can decide quicker than going through the whole process.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna share. So inside 2 days ago, in Owners Club, we brought in a pad split rep that I know pretty well. Her name's Audrey. She's South Florida, and she gave me an updated buy box. And anything like this that I share, it's just view it as like supplemental info. Um, Not that it's like preceding any other guys, any other stuff you're seeing in the school group, just more data. So I'll screen share real quick. Or actually, let me share it in the chat first. But ultimately, this right off the bat, I'm looking at pad split and seeing what data exists. Especially if you're going to be raising capital, you want to be able to create a pitch deck that is attractive and it's not speculative, it's not gray. Let's say you're looking at a cash deal, creative, whatever. Like my first thing is I'm going to see if is it near one of the major metros? Well, first, some does it have HOA? So don't even mess around with HOA because they can vote and change their bylaws at any time. So the next is looking at some pad split data. You can create the free account and you can look up zip codes. And you want some decent data, whether you're buying it for yourself or going to use a PML, a PMP, anything like that. Like some of my PMPs, if there isn't data, they're like, don't bother sending it to me. Like they don't want that. It's not their risk profile. Okay, so I just shared it in the group here. This is the rep. I know her well. I've met her in person. We've spoken at events together. It's just an updated buy box, like a cheat sheet. And so you should be able to open it. I think it uploaded well. A lot of it you guys probably already know, but one thing that stuck out, and again, it's just a data point, just something unique. Um, she lowered her square foot. I'm not saying that's the right square foot. I still have the bias, like similar to Michael, of 1800 square feet. So that can be something you just save easily is and just have it tucked away in your notes or something. But yeah, so no HOA and then pulling up the pad split data, Derek, because you want ideally like when you go to pad split site, even if you don't have intentions to use pad split, it's the benchmark out there for rent by the room in terms of the hierarchy. Like you can look at other sources of rent by the room on Zillow, Airbnb, whatever. It's kind of like the authority figure at the moment is the pad split data. And so when you go on their main site, it'll have like 20 core markets. One thing that stuck out in this interview we had with Audrey 2 days ago is she recommended, in addition to looking at the zip code data, is staying within 25 miles of those core markets. The big thing, now a couple of things she was also saying that some could interpret as risky versus not, but really it's are you next to large employers, a decent population density? So it's like you're within that 25 mile. Maybe it's a zip code, like for example, Fort Lauderdale. I'm looking at a lot down there. Some of those zip codes aren't established, but it's a very dense market, very expensive down there. Miami. I mean, it's these properties like right along the highway. and so at 95. So it doesn't have quite some of those zip codes don't have strong data to go off of, but it's like if you're really close to the bus stops, you know you're in a very dense population, it's expensive, and then there's big employers. You can see like Walmart, Costco, Home Depot, like these powerhouses. In short, Derek, that's we could condense that a lot better, but that's those are the major things like quickly looking at.
No, cool. Thank you for the share on that. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Did you connect with more people or like the KPI one a day kind of thing?
Yeah, I didn't hit one a day because on my other JLB kind of a situation, it's taken over. But that is, I am
Yeah.
my my weekend strategy is planning out my calendar better and making sure that I'm living by my calendar via doing whatever I want. So it's
Yeah.
I have to set that up because I mean one a day is not a big deal. I should be able to do more than that, even with the other stuff I've got to do.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. It'll take a little bit to get to this point, but there's a really cool trick that I enjoy using. So I try to talk with someone new every day, one person new. And then I take notes and I'm putting it in a Google Sheet. And then what's really cool though is whenever you get a deal, like when you're essentially like your black book of different contacts or your Rolodex or whatever you want to call it, after a while you get this Google Sheet of detailed notes. Pretend a deal like Derek, I send you a deal
Mhm.
and it's like it doesn't fit my buy box, but it's a fair deal that worth looking at. You can take this Google Sheet, download it, and throw it through ChatGPT and say, who are the 10 most probable people to buy this, or who should I show this deal to? And you can kind of leverage ChatGPT as a CRM in a sense. And that's like it motivates you to, connect with one or two people every day and take detailed notes on them. Because it's really hard to remember all that, especially after a couple months of doing it. But I've been surprised. Like sometimes when I don't really know what to do with it, a deal comes across my email and I know the person well, the wholesaler. I've done that. I've taken like the owners club and inventory of everyone in it, and I'm like, I know this is the deal. I don't know who to show it to. I don't want to blast it to 400 people. Who are the top 10 that are most probable to buy it? And yeah, it works. It's a it's a cool hack.
That's cool. Just a simple prompt of, who can benefit from this? It's not working for me in my buy box. Who can benefit from? Okay.
Yeah, because the more you do it too, and you like guide it. If maybe it gives you the wrong answer the first couple times or whatever, you could tell it, actually, no, they are trying to buy this. Remember this, and it'll update the memory.
Okay.
So same thing too with PMPs. Like as you guys are creating your list, all the people you're meeting, you can do that because some different PMPs are going to have different risk profiles. Um, different areas that they're comfortable investing or different timelines, PMLs, PMP. So yeah, the using ChatGPT as the CRM's been pretty helpful.
Yeah. It's a great idea to drop it in there and ask for help to, surmise the best that's in there.
Yeah, because you can save it. You can update, but you can also save it like very detailed stuff. But let's see. I know we'd spoke about like different active income ideas. Did any other questions since then come to mind since last week?
From that conversation, no, I mean, to be very honest, it's got to be me doing the action to get into that point. And it's understanding. Like I've been in sub two for a while, and there's been a lot of self-realization. I mean, that you guys to be my counselors and psychoanalysts here, but I've been looking for other people to help me. And I understand that's what sub two and super investors is, but I've got to take some responsibility for what I'm doing. And I this week I posted in the group, I put what my buy box is, and it's not a vast difference from what um Michael's is because I don't understand it yet. I've got to build it out. So I have to be careful because I know LaShawn did comment on it, and so did Alex, that I'm waiting for somebody else to tell me, Derek, it's okay, now take your next step, versus it really doesn't matter what's in there. It's the connection points. Like me connecting with you, you gave me great ideas and I've acted on some of them and not all of them in a week's time. And that falls on me. Had I taken every single step that you said, I might have, a better deal moving forward. But I know that I am doing the right things in somewhat of the right chronological order, but I just have to keep doing them consistently, consistently. And it's still fresh and new to me. I'm not good enough within sub two and understanding deals. I've got to get better at that. And that's just process of going through the calculator. So again, this week I'm making sure that like I put it on my schedule that from 7 to 9 p.m. is when I do my sub two studying. When I step away from the other stuff that I do, that's where I am focused. And actually this past week, except for yesterday, because I had to fix something in my business. Every day I went through and studied. So the only thing I have left in sub two is to go over Michael's deal analysis. Otherwise, I've completed everything. So now, that shouldn't stop me from trying to connect with a super investor every day or somebody in sub two. I need to do those types of work consistently because I can sit there and thanks, LaShawn, and I can study till the cows come home. But if I don't take action, and that falls on me, I have a long history of shiny object syndrome, and I can no longer have that if I want success in this business and its connection points.
Yeah. Well, so here's my vote is I wouldn't even so this school community acts as a filter for you. It's telling you like who is eager to take some action, and then action is defined in different ways. I like for you guys, if you don't know everyone inside the school community, like you haven't done a one-on-one with each person, I think you're really missing out because it's like it costs, each month to be in here, but it's already telling you who wants to do something like ASAP. So I think I've heard Pace and Tony Robbins, or no, Pace and Dean Graziosi tell you they go to masterminds and pay that not to necessarily meet the people in there, but it's to keep all the other people out. And so it's like if you don't know everyone in the school group, you're really doing yourself a disservice because it's like if you do that just 10, 10, 15 minutes every day, one person new in the school group, say, are you looking to buy? Or like, what are you looking to do? What's your most urgent goal? Some people, they may work a W-2, but they don't have time to underwrite deals. And you could sell deals to people like that. Like I know some people in here, they have an amazing W-2, but if they work 60 hours a week. And so they're waiting for someone to come to them and say, hey, I have time. I want to buy and hold, of course, but I also want to, pass some deals to other people that way I can balance active income with buy and hold. And so there's people in here like that where they're waiting for someone that has a little more time and can pass high quality deals to them. Because every day the inventory is changing, like in the what you guys have access to, but also outside of the school group, like deals that maybe just through social media people bring you. And so that's my opinion is leverage it as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, I will. So those on here expect me reaching out next week. Um,
Yeah, everyone on here, if Derek doesn't reach out to you, just
don't kick
you
me out of the
gotta
group. I'll be touching points with them.
yeah, because even like this today though, like building off it, everyone in here today, it's telling you like because there's gonna be the recording, but it's like look on here today and look at the names and screenshot. They're like, all right, they're hungry. They're looking to take action like this weekend, Monday. And then there's something Pace said one time where it's something like, if you feel lost, you're selfish. Find 25 people and identify the problem that they have and solve it. And then just make sure you get paid along the way. So it's like everyone in here, you can go to them and say, hey, what's your 1 month target? What's your 1 month goal? Like, do you have access to PML already and you just need to find a deal? Because I know personally finding deals takes time and then managing the PML PMP side takes a lot of time. Like they both very time intensive. And like my personal network is very deal heavy. And so that's where it helps. Like I brainstorm with Kaipo regularly. and we're essentially like in a couple of weeks, Michael's gonna host like the Zero to Hero, but it's like creating showing real life example of okay, you got one guy hunting down deals, and then the other that's constantly nurturing the private money because you have to maintain that communication with them. And so, yeah, just in your Google sheet, everyone in here on Saturday, like link up and then say, hey, what do you guys need? Let's see, Alex sent us a deal.
Thank you, Dustin.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. All right, let's see what Alex sent us.
I don't know if it's a deal. It kind of fell into my lap. My buddy's he's doing acquisitions on the Big Island. He's already got some short-term rentals, but this one is kind of weird, and he wants to partner with me on it because he knows I'm getting into co-living. 15 bed,
Yeah,
5 bath, 3 kitchens in one property.
very first question is why are they selling?
Um, it's a great story. The sellers are in their 90s and they're getting divorced.
I'm looking at it now. Let's see what other, okay, you know the backstory. They've had it listed a while.
Yeah, they've had
Um,
it listed a while too high. But he got it down like 100K, and then he's going to do an inspection and try to have him come down even more. It's already being run as a co-living sort of situation, but they won't do creative only because they don't have a lot of time left.
do they have any debt on it?
Mm-mm. Free and clear.
Unclear. Interesting.
Yeah. So
Yeah, well, let me, I don't want to tell you something that I haven't thought of all the way through because there's definitely things you can do with it. Like I used to live on Oahu
okay.
and it's expensive out there. So like
Yeah.
co-living is really high demand.
Yeah. He's got it all. Every single room is rented out for $300 a month or $400 a month.
Are they all, is it month to month or do they have
Yeah.
some,
No, it's just month to month. And so we were thinking of, taking it over, rehabbing it, and bringing up the rent.
would he do any small seller carry?
I don't think so. I mean, they're just done. They're done with everything. I mean, he's like in his 90s. He's kind of hard to deal with. Um, he's just like, I'm done. They won't carry anything.
Yeah, because the first thought that comes to mind is like, okay, option A, seller finance, 10% down, like the benchmark we all know. But if that's not enough, it could be worth like digging into if a mortgaging method's possible.
Right.
Because it's like it's been on for over a year, 368 days,
Yeah.
and it's telling us that the market does not believe 699. I mean, they cut it a month ago, but
Yeah.
the market tells the truth, like
Yeah.
doesn't support it.
Doesn't support it. I mean, I've reached out to just some lenders, and it's like it's weird. Like it would have to be private money because it's somewhere in between like this commercial slash residential area. Because like yeah, like I went the DSCR route, and they're like, no, because it's like
Yeah,
you can't have that many people as tenants under one
yeah,
property for DSCR, and so I just wanted to kind of see what your gut reaction is, or which way to approach it, or what.
yeah, yeah. Kaipo, what do you think? You know Big Island.
I think as far as it's basically downtown, right? It's right across the bridge from downtown Hilo. So if you
Right.
look at it, I mean, it's in striking distance to all of the main shops and just the touristy area downtown. I mean, so that's good, but like looking at from just the sky view, like it is in the middle of some industrial area. So I mean, you'd have to kind of dig into that a little bit more
Okay.
to see if it would be yeah, if it would be viable for sure, yeah.
Because of the industrial area, because of where it is, like, will people want to live there? Is kind of that what you're
I
alluding to?
mean, it's with regards to like the co-living, like it's close to all of the retail, right? I mean, if people have to walk or go to work, there's bus stops right there on the main road. It's close to the main road as well. But just that commercial piece, right? It is in the middle of some commercial buildings, so like, if you can't get a DSCR loan, I agree, it would have to be probably one different type of product that you could
Right.
find, or try to get, negotiate, see if he can carry more for it to make sense.
Yeah.
Like Dustin said, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
For it
Okay.
to be worth it for you, right?
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
And I mean, did you have somebody, how far did you look into it? Did you go and check out the property as far as,
Oh, not yet.
the current condition?
They're going back and forth right now, and then he's thinking of locking it up and then getting like an inspector, get the look under the hood and everything because it is quite old. Apparently, they pulled permits. It used to be I get three separate units that they turned into one big house, so it's pretty funky.
Yeah, you'd have to kind of look into that as well and
For
decide.
sure. Yeah,
Go
they
don't go
claim they
there.
pulled all the permits and everything was done to code, but you know how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there because right across those three bridges, that's downtown Hilo. So
Right.
that's where everything is at,
Yeah, it's pretty
Bus
interesting.
stops all right there down that whole main road
Right.
if they gotta catch the bus or, to other locations. So
Right. That's kind of like as
yeah,
far as I got was like, oh, it's cool, but moving forward without the creative part and any sort of carry, it's just going to be a headache.
Yeah. I mean, the first thought, do you have like rent rolls or any
yeah,
Y-
financials?
Just just from the agent, nothing like in writing. They're supposed to be gathering all that stuff, but basically everything's booked out. It's been booked out, but I think it's even says in the description like the bottom level's $400 a room. The middle level's 300, and then the top level's 400.
Yeah. That I think that's the next step is getting some concrete financials because
Hmm.
then you could start organizing, you could poke around with lenders, see if that's viable or not at all.
Right.
And then depending on what lenders say, like if DSCR works or not, just use that as evidence going back to the seller and agent. Be like, listen, you want to sell, I want to buy. The lender says no. How do we get this to work? And then
Right.
Mike had a good point. What are they going to do with the money? Like, do they need it or they're just,
Yeah, it's like why are they getting divorced too? I don't know. I mean, it's just very odd all around. We're
yeah,
going through two agents, so I normally work kind of direct to seller or through like one party, but it's been kind of a headache trying to get any information.
yeah, I think that's the best bet is like step one, getting legit financials, and then step two, talking with the lenders,
Hmm.
and then all that evidence, just
Yeah.
throw it right back at him. Be like, listen, if I can't find a lender, no one
Right.
else can be able to find a lender. So it's like creative's probably your best shot.
Right.
So
That's good.
they probably don't, yeah, they probably don't fully understand it either.
Hmm.
One thing that's helped me a ton, more so in wholesale, but in general, is anytime that there's objections about creative, like I very openly mention, hey, let's get on a call with title. They and get it like a group call with the title company that you've already found, like you already know they do creative deals regularly,
Hmm.
and they can help be a very neutral third party and help validate what you're saying and suggesting.
Right.
Like wholesale, that's how I got like my first five wholesale deals was just bef- this is like almost 2 years ago, but I was trying to explain sub to and like it sounded weird. I was horrible at it. And I was like, hey, how about we just call a title company, the one that I've worked with before, and they can explain it 100 times better because they want the business, so they're usually pretty happy to help out like that,
That's a good idea. Thank you for that. Thank you.
especially if they're local.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah. Thanks for the
yeah,
insights, guys. Appreciate that.
yeah, yeah. Let's see, I think who was it? It was Chris Denton that was wanting to look at something specific. Yeah, Chris, right?
Yeah. Yeah, hey, Dustin.
Yeah. How's it going, man?
Good. Appreciate your time on this. So I was
Yeah,
just kind of
yeah.
running through Michael's calculator and doing them all, and I've changed my focus to just be strictly towards pad split and going with their model. And so I was trying to do a couple of the ones from the super investors, and it was just having kind of struggles of getting to the end where the numbers make sense. So I just kind of wanted to see you do it, and to see how different, what different things I'm doing, because I've looked at a couple of the ones that you've sent over as well, where you've had like 7 rooms in there, and it's like, how do you know you can get to that, and how do
Yeah.
you get those numbers?
Well, so you'll notice too, the room count. This is just what I've noticed over time. It's kind of like everyone I show, like different private money partners, they all have different biases on how they want the property to be. Like my main private money partner, he's very aggressive. He's squeezing rooms in there. And then other people I work with that are a lot more conservative, and they're like trying to foster a home environment. Not that one's right or wrong, but it is fairly subjective. How about this? Why don't we look at what you have so far? Like, let's look at an example that you're working on and a piece screen share. We can break it down. Yeah, like for example, the past few properties we've done, we've split the master bedrooms into two, and then we made a hallway going from the master bath to the main hallway.
Mhm.
Like that's something we do, but some people may not advocate for. Yeah, are you able to? Okay,
Yeah,
there it
doing it right
is.
now. So this is the property that it went out there. You guys see my screen?
Yeah,
Okay. And so and it looks like it's already being run as the pad split. So it kind of gives the numbers on there.
yeah,
And I'm just kind of, I mean, I went through the calculator and put it all in there. Started with the steps each time, the property information, the creative finance, the calculations, did all those. Got to the sub two, the balloon, and then got down to pad splits here. And it was saying still it's negative, where quick calculations say that it shouldn't be negative. So just kind of curious on what I may be missing here or doing incorrectly.
yeah. So I'm familiar with this property.
Okay.
I believe it's run as co-living, but not through pad split.
Okay.
I think that's the story on this one.
Okay.
Um,
And did you underwrite it?
Not through the calculator, no.
Okay.
Um, Only because I'm pretty focused on Florida at the moment. I'm really looking in between like North Orlando, East Jacksonville.
Okay.
Um, but I did look at this one into it. I mean, it's decent. I think it comes down to if you want to run it yourself or not. Um, yeah, I think that's the main question. Do you need,
Okay.
let's see, I think the only other thing really is on, let me look. So nothing income.
I mean, I'm on the West Coast, so I am looking to have pad split do all that part. Like I don't have boots on the ground in these areas yet,
Yeah.
besides
Could you
reaching
go
out to
back
owners
to the,
clubs and
yeah. Is the utilities accurate?
this one here.
Six, yeah, 600.
I didn't change that one. That one's
Like that's one thing that comes to mind is that in the other screen that you shared, it was broken down, and it seemed
yeah.
like it might be 400.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is. I guess I get a little lost on the calculator because
500,
Michael
yeah.
has those separately on each. Like he has those in this section here, and then also seems to put them down in there on pad split. So I don't know if it pulls it separately when you're doing the pad split calculations, or if
Okay.
that's like an additional.
Yeah. No, I see what you mean. I'm not a pro at this. I'm pretty decent at it, enough to like know if it's a deal or not.
Yeah.
Like, because his calculator is very in depth. It's good.
Very,
Like
it's great.
it's like PhD level.
Yeah,
Um,
he's
in my this is what I do if I get stuck on it, at least in the early stages, is I'll hard code, go manually
mm,
to get the certain areas that I know I want. I do know that it's slipping my mind his name, but they do have the official underwriter that's coming in every Tuesday, I think. Um,
okay. Yeah, I saw that one.
from Tuesday, Gabriel.
Mm,
But on this, I think because I did look at this one pretty close, because it's my next market is Georgia, naturally.
mm,
Um, I think that was the big factor for me personally, was just if I wanted to run it through pad split or not. Um, I think that's the make or break on the current setup. But I would double check like with the floor plan too, because you might be able to add a fifth room. I'm not sure
okay.
on this one. But
And then,
overall, I mean, it's a good property.
yeah. And then on some of the ones that you're sending out that are in that Florida area, uh,
Yeah.
is there a reason why you're passing on those, or can you share that?
It's more so like bandwidth. Like we're
Okay.
finishing up. Like I could do 10 projects at once sloppily, and like mistakes happen, or like I could pass on deals and then maintain a smaller workload because I'm very like submerged into the wholesale deals
Mhm.
where like I also need active income as well. So it's kind of like it depends what our team is up to. Um, like we're finishing one that's about 15 minutes north of me. And so until that one's going to be done like probably 2 weeks. So we're entering that phase where it's all the random little things that are going to go wrong. I kind of would rather wait for that to end before starting a whole new, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a
Don't want to get pulled too
2-year-old.
thin.
Yeah, I have a 2-year-old and my wife's in her second trimester.
Oh,
So
geez.
my attention can only go so far.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, but yeah, a lot of those they my strongest connections are Florida. So like if I send things out that are outside of Florida, that's probably the first reason it's not Florida.
Hmm.
And then the others is timing. I'm trying to time things well.
Okay. Are you seeing, I mean, it probably hasn't been long enough on the ones that you're purchasing where you're splitting them up, and squeezing every possible bedroom out versus the ones that you're making it more of like a home environment? Are you seeing longer tenant, uh,
Yeah,
like
so
like fill?
some of the rooms, like the small ones where they like barely scrape by the pad split requirements, they do have higher turnover. We don't have very many of them, but we have experimented to generate, some of our own data.
Hmm.
The, um, so we're not gonna do any more of those where it like barely beats the minimum. Um, we are gravitating more towards Audrey is who we brought in 2 days ago from Pad Split, to ask, hey, what are the trends? What are you seeing? What are your top clients doing that others aren't doing? And some of the key takeaways, and Kaipo, remind me if I skip one, but all of them she's recommending all desks. Each room have desks. Each room has a TV. She's seeing mini fridges becoming way more of the standard in each room. And then that itself is helping shorten turnover. You don't have someone eating someone's food, stuff like that. Um, the fact that they have something else to sit on and just kick their feet up after work and watch TV when they're, maybe they're dirty. They don't want to lay on the bed. And so like little things like that, she's saying her top clients, that's the common denominator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, where did you bring Audrey in to this or to your own team?
Um, cause I used to live in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, and that's where she's at. So I've
Okay.
seen her at events and stuff. She's not my like official rep,
Mm,
but so I brought her into an owners club Zoom 2 days ago,
yeah.
just really to identify trends, do's and don'ts, stuff like that. Those
Which
are
one
the
was
big
that?
takeaways. What's that?
Which one was that? I'll go back and watch that.
It was 2 days ago. Yeah. I think the recording should be up.
On the co-living one, Thursday morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. David Ross and I.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Look at that.
those are the main things. If anything, she's probably more aggressive than I've heard her speak than
Mm,
other events in terms of like even zip code data.
mhm,
Um, this is just her, it's her opinion. She is slightly biased. They want you to perform well, but they also getting
right.
paid.
Right.
But overall, the more houses you get, the better they get paid long term. But yeah, she was even saying, like I asked her, oh, okay, hey Audrey, in your opinion, what is the minimum unit count a zip code should have? And she's like, well, I used to really leverage that or give that a high weight. She's like, I don't as much anymore, as long as you're staying within 25-mile radius of like these really core established markets.
Mm,
So you're saying within 25 miles. Um, next, there's very prominent workforce places like employment, these
mm,
powerhouses, like the big that the ones everyone knows, Target, Walmart, Costco, Amazon warehouse and stuff like that.
mm,
She said she's giving that more, um, letting it influence her decisions more, what she's telling clients.
mm.
Um, and then this is all opinion based, of course, so like give it as much weight as you think appropriate, but it is newer things I've heard her say than recent events I've heard her speak at.
Yeah.
If
But
I could ask
my
a
opinion
question.
is,
Sorry, guys. Is there an average age of the individuals that are renting in co-living properties? Does Pad Split know that number? Are they
yeah,
25 to 30?
she shared it. Either it's in that buy box PDF or it's something else I saw in the past week, but it's actually like is either 31 or 36. Like, it
Mm,
was higher than I expected.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
asked,
I
my son's in college right now, and he's basically in a co-living situation, meaning with his buddies, four other buddies that play lacrosse. And my son has one of the smallest rooms, but he truly made it his own home in that room. They share the
yeah,
kitchen, of course. He shares a small little, but I'm just trying to say, is this for 30 or younger? Is this for older? So that's interesting, 31 to 36. So just wondering how, if I put myself back at 30 and I was in a studio apartment, man, I don't know if I would want to live with a bunch of other people, but times have changed. People understand that. I'm trying to understand the thought process of somebody going in. But when you say, Dustin, that a desk, a TV, and a mini fridge, like those things make my son happy in his room, that he doesn't need to leave and he's cool to stay in it, even though his roommate's dog comes in and chills out on his bed when he's sitting there watching TV. So I'm trying to grasp how this works, and I have to look at it as it's an extension from college living, is really what it is.
Well, you also can't put
yeah,
yourself in those because you're not your target
Yeah.
like audience
because they're the
likely.
alternative. I mean, they're Florida. I was from about Florida just because I'm here, but a studio in Miami, you're you're not going to see anything below 2 grand. And like, or even Orlando, it's hard to find something below 2 grand, but a full room, all expenses, is $800. So for a lot of them, if depending on their income, like if you just even look at the average income in the US, like they're saving a substantial percentage of their monthly annual income if they are doing rent by the room. It's like pocketing an extra 10 grand, 15 grand a year.
Is there a number as far as how long people are willing to stay? Are they 7 months, 13? Like, do they know an average stay?
Yeah, so in Florida, I believe, because someone asked her that. In Florida, she said, I want to say it was 7 or 8 months.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then I've been hearing, don't quote me on this, but I've been hearing different strategies as well. Because I try to interview a lot of co-living people, just collecting info, data. But I've heard some people like, hey, when you reach the 6 month mark, they'll give them like a Costco gift card or something, like different unique incentives.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, which are you? You said you're West Coast. You're looking in Atlanta a little bit. What would
Mhm.
you identify your official buy box as? And I'm asking too, because in case Derek sees a deal, he knows exactly what to shoot your way.
Yeah, I'm pretty open at really anything creative I'm looking at. 4.2 is probably the minimum, or 3.2 is probably the minimum. But I really want to be focused on co-living, something that can add, you know, ideally would be to put 5 bedrooms in there, less than 10% down, but even that is flexible because I have access
Yes.
to capital.
Which would you say is your top state? So hold on, I want to pause real quick too.
Yeah.
So Derek, he has capital. He wants to buy. Like
Yeah.
this is your first guy on your sheet for sure. Um, so what would you say is your number one state, number two, number three?
Um, I don't know if in specifically that order, but Georgia, North Carolina, and Arizona. Arizona is just because it's close to me and I know it more than those other two. But I mean, I just keep seeing Florida come up so much, but I know that Florida has, it's like California. It's just so different in each different specific part
Yeah,
that I just don't know it. But I know
yeah,
there's a lot of opportunities there. So that kind of keeps moving up on the side of my list.
yeah. No, it's good to know because um all right, what's Chris, what's the best way if Derek sees a deal this week, he could send it to you?
Yeah, I mean, you can text me my email. I'll put it in the chat here.
Yeah, I Florida, South Florida's kind of tough. Um, my personal favorite is like this North Orlando, Jacksonville's pocket, also insurance wise.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. I guess is anyone else in here only looking to buy? Like they're not really looking to wholesale any deals. Like, is there anyone else in here like I need to buy something the next month, and then that way people know who to send the deals to? Is it Alex?
It is.
Alex, what's the best way someone to send you a deal?
Yeah, email, Instagram. I'll drop my.
Alex, you're in SoCal too, right?
Yeah, yeah. We should
What
link up.
part?
I
Yeah,
got your info right here. I'll text you.
cool.
I'm in Dana Point.
Okay. I'm in Manhattan Beach, so just up the way.
Yeah, guys, I would like everyone in the school though. I know I said it already, but if you can, just try to do the one-on-one with everyone in here because it's like the filter effect is insane. All right, let's see. Steve, we haven't heard anything from you. Are you looking to buy? Are you looking active income or right in the middle?
I'm looking to buy. I want to do pad split in Georgia, North Carolina, and probably the Tampa area of Florida. So,
Tampa? Yeah.
yeah.
And then how would you describe where you're at? Are you like you know how to underwrite it? You're a black belt and you're just waiting for
Uh
the
yeah,
right deal to come through?
I'm pretty good at underwriting. I can use that calculator pretty good at myself actually. I am a gator too, so I look at deals for other people all the time, so that's helps a little bit on the underwriting of properties, but
Yeah.
that's it.
What what would you say is the number one thing that you have, and then the number one thing that you need that you're looking for?
Uh One thing I have is being able to underwrite very well. And I do have some access to other gators, so uh who will do PML, PMPs and PML, so but
Yeah.
not enough of them. I gotta reach back out to a lot of them. Uh and what I need is to find a property that I can definitely use for uh slow living. I'm
Yeah.
also interested in multifamilies
Okay.
in the
So
Northeast.
yeah, so that's the big thing you're looking for currently is it's not so much capital, but just solid deal flow. All right. Let's see. Before we finish, we haven't heard from we haven't heard from DJ, LaShawn, or Mike. Who wants to go first? What number one thing you have, number one thing you need?
I'll go.
All right. Welcome, Mike.
Hello. So I am looking to just I'm I guess to buy some pad split properties or create pad split properties in Georgia, North Carolina, and Florida. And I have looked in South Carolina too. I've heard that one's a little bit different, but um, I am on a daily basis. I am looking out. I am calling agents and trying to find deals. I haven't reached out to wholesalers yet. And pretty much that's it. I've been in sub two for a bit, but I would like to just get my foot on the ground so I can have a constant, at least feel that I've got one or two deals coming once a month, at least put an offer in.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like you have some capital or you have access to capital, but you really want to like 10x your deal flow.
Well, that's the other thing is I'd like to work with partners on it. So, PMLs and
Okay.
PMPs.
Okay. And then what's the best way for someone to reach out to you if they're a PMP or they have deal flow, they're like, all right, I
Uh,
need to get it to
text,
Mike.
yeah, text or email me. I'll definitely put it in the chat here.
Okay, cool.
Mike, what's
All
the
right,
reason
let's
you're
shop.
not going through wholesalers yet, Mike?
Um, I actually, because I haven't reached out to any, I I don't know. I guess what I would say is that I guess I've heard the stories of wholesalers bring what they call a deal, but it's not a deal, and then trying to train them on how to, this is what I'm looking for. Don't bring me anything unless it, kind of fits this buy box. And I'd say that's probably the main goal, or the main reason. But if I were to find, wholesalers that I knew were, have been doing it for a while and are constantly doing deals, I would probably want to reach out to them. Yeah,
Yeah, Mike, you know the standard bell curve?
I know what the bell curve is, but
Yeah,
what
yeah.
is really,
So, and you know how there's tail ends of it?
yes.
So it's like just like everything, you have to find the 10% or you know, second, third standard deviation of that bell curve. They're out there. A lot of them, if anything, a lot of the quieter ones aren't going to be on, or the ones that are pumping out volume, they're they're usually pretty picky about who they're selling deals to. Like they prefer to like personally, I would rather sell a deal to someone I know that's going to perform and make 5 grand versus risk selling it to someone that I know that might close, that really doesn't know what they're doing, but might be able to give me 7 grand. Like I'd rather just 5 grand it. So finding those ones.
Yeah, I agree. It makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
I'm not
they're there.
I'm not that guy yet, but it's
Yeah,
my
yeah,
goal to be that guy.
yeah. The meetups. That's it's a pain, but I'll drive an hour and a half to go to Jacksonville to go to the meetups, and that's where I find like PML buyers, wholesalers.
I'm in Ocala, Dustin. Where are you in Florida?
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm New Smyrna Beach.
Mm, okay.
So do like Jacksonville meetup. We can coordinate and go to one.
Oh, it sounds
I think they
good.
have some Orlando ones too. Yeah, I'll screenshot your number and make sure I have it. All right, LaShawn, you're up.
Hello. I've been in Sub2 for about 2 years now. I'm a real estate broker here in California, Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. And I just actually had my one-on-one with Michael. Right now, I've never been really big on wholesaling. I haven't
Yeah,
had the confidence with that, but I'm not going to say that I won't do it. I definitely want to do that because I do need active cash. Um, but as I was talking to Michael, and the last time you held the this forum, the Zoom, couple Saturdays ago, it was a
yeah,
great idea where I'm trying to master underwriting so that I could be of not only value to my business, but I can help others to kind of maybe, get a little cash that way as well. Make that into like a business. I guess it's sort of like the bird dogging or, you
yeah,
being
yeah,
underwriting and helping people do that. So that's where my focus is. And so I've been trying to really practice and learn the calculator, which is it's a lot, but
yeah.
um, I've been taking advantage of the video that you did with him where you had him kind of take the steps, like, okay, enter
Label it.
this first. Yeah. So I found that to be a lot. It helped, but I still would love to work with someone one-on-one to say, okay, let's just take a let's. So I've been going on like the portal, find a property, and so what we would do is take the step like, okay, let's enter in the property,
Yeah,
then go to the second, kind of do like a short Zoom on, what to enter in first, what to look for, that sort of thing. But I've been just trying to do it on my own for now. Really trying to learn that calculator and underwrite properties daily so I can just get familiar and
yeah,
if any deals come up, I'd be ready, because I'm looking for also um, properties like in Ohio, Indiana, Georgia now, Pennsylvania. So I do have some, areas identified where that I want to focus on purchasing long term, buying and hold properties.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well,
yeah,
the first thought, this is some of this out of you going to be out of the comfort zone. Um,
yeah,
but we know Steve is a black belt wholesaler or a underwriter, is what he told us. And so I would like kind of we were talking about a bit ago, connecting with people one on one, identifying strengths, weaknesses, but then also record it and do this like if you can a couple times a week. And then this is the part that's gonna be real uncomfortable. Put it on your YouTube channel. And if you don't have one, make one.
yeah,
Because the the thing is, or like fractional. Because then let's say you have like 20 videos of you underwriting. Whenever a PML or PMP is like looking into you, seeing if they're comfortable or not, and they're like, dang, Sean has a lot of underwriting content. Like you're building your resume in a sense.
yeah. Good
Um,
idea. Yeah,
because then it's just that digital business card, but you're gonna know what Steve's looking for. He'll give some tips. And then other people too.
Me and
Um,
LaShawn are
Mike,
very good friends, actually.
yeah.
oh, okay.
Steve and Mike and Nadine, who didn't make it on the call, we're all from, we got together from, we're accountability group from the low equity when we took that back
Yeah.
in March of last year. So yeah, I'm very familiar with Steve and Mike. So yeah,
Yeah, you should do some content, do some underwriting. because then it's like the whole five birds, one stone. It's like you're networking, you're creating content, you're getting better at different skills. Um, and then really the big thing goes PML, like PMPs. If they're like, well, how'd you underwrite it? You're
Yeah.
like, well, here's 10 examples of how I underwrite. Um,
Yeah.
and then we could talk on another time. There's very, the fact that you're a broker, there's very ethical ways to leverage your license and wholesale. Like I'm a Florida agent and I get wholesale deals often only because I have the license, where in reality, it's not giving me any superpower, but the
Right.
agents that are getting bombarded by wholesalers, they just have a natural preference to do the deal with someone that also has a license. So
Right.
you could really leverage it. So we
Yeah,
could
that's a
always
good
talk
idea.
about how to do that, but
Yeah, I would love to. Yes. I would love to do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have
Dustin, quick question on that. I mean, the
yeah.
wholesalers, outside of this community that send them to me, none of them are creative. Like they're all just cash and traditional financing. How are you making that shift with them? Are you just like training those wholesalers to do that, or what? How are you doing that?
Um, can you reword it? I'm not sure I fully understand.
So
Like
I'm
in
an
terms of
agent.
like,
Yeah, I'm an
yeah.
agent out here, and I have a bunch of wholesalers that do exactly that. Hey, I've got this potential deal. You've have clients that invest, fix and flip. Here's a new wholesale deal, but none of them are creative. So how are you shifting those to creative? Or are you not? Are you just keeping them as that?
More so, I think I'm more so flipping the script where turning deals on market deals into wholesale deals is how I've been leveraging it. Like essentially I do my own version of LOI Blaster, like same thing, but I've just tweaked it, tweaked it. And so I'll send out hundreds every day. And I have a couple guys that help acquisitions. Like I've recently slammed the gas on it. And so a lot of the deals though, they just because I had the license, they're like, okay, just tell me what the heck's going on. I've gotten 50 of these emails. So that's how more so I've been leveraging it.
Are you
I
using
think
LI Blaster, Dustin? Or
I have in the past. I've eventually stopped only because I've just continued modifying it so much. But
yeah.
it's great it's great early on, especially if you're gonna need tech help. But I mean, just you can modify the template and really make it known though that you're an agent and you're already leaps and bounds against everyone else using it, is what I've seen.
Well, but how are you getting out? Because you said you were sending out like hundreds of the letters. How are you doing that? Is it just manually just sitting there
You know,
doing?
you can, I'll send you a video.
I was just
Okay.
gonna say, what about making another Zoom on sharing how to do this? Because
Yeah,
Yeah. And
I'd be a
and
lot
yeah,
of
then is
value.
because
and would you be willing to kind of, since you do have some of us that are agents, would you be willing to show like an example of what your tweak is, the letter, what it looks like, that kind of makes it a little bit different than the standard
yeah,
LOI?
well, yeah, this could be like Chris was saying a whole Zoom, but the big edge where I saw my wholesale explode is I took the time to build um, LinkedIn, YouTube, like very strategic. Because a lot of people at wholesale, they like to hide in the dark, in the shadows, and they have an LLC that owns an LLC that owns an LLC. Where I've kind of done the opposite. I'm like, hey, I'm an agent. Here's my LinkedIn. Here's where I went to undergrad, grad school. I have a license. Here's my YouTube. Like I throw myself in their face.
Wow. Okay.
And so they like it. And then the articles, though, I've taken the very strategic interviews of the common rebuttals, DTI, second tier VA entitlement, um, meter wraparound, and like you're creating these articles and then sharing it with agents. So like in my in the LOI, I change it like every 60 days, but um in the LOI I'll have different things like that. And I'll have my buy box and because my first intention when reaching out is actually a buyer. But I'm a picky buyer, so I'll wholesale things that don't quite fit.
Right. Wow. That's
So
cool. That's a good idea. Love it. Thanks.
yeah, yeah, you could do it. And then it helps just the underwriting videos too. Like you're just creating this online brand. Okay, let's see. I got a couple minutes, or I'm gonna get in trouble by my wife. Um, DJ, we haven't heard from you yet.
Hey, what's going on, Dustin?
Hey man, what's
Um,
the number one thing you have? Number one thing you're looking for?
I would say I'm decent at underwriting, and I just moved some money from my HSA, so I've got some funding to purchase another deal. I just bought my first co-living property down in Houston with Brian Madsen, who's also in Super Investors, and we had a
Nice.
couple of folks move in today, so it's an exciting time for me. But yeah, looking for more things to buy.
Yeah.
Ideally
So
with
D
like an operating partner, because that's what I'm newer
yeah,
at. So
yeah, yeah,
that's kind of what's going
yeah.
on.
Perfect. I guess two questions. What's the best way for anyone to get a hold of you in terms of like, because this is recorded, so not everyone's here, but like, let's say they're a rock star operating partner. They're like, all right, DJ, I'm ready. I got a deal. Let's do it. I see your phone number and email here. Is that the best?
Yeah, I got phone number and email in the chat. Uh, Otherwise, it's DJ Star 8 on Instagram or DJ Star 8 at Gmail. That's with two R's.
Nice. And then for the one-on-one thing, are you game to do an underwriting video with
Absolutely,
Sean or anyone
100%.
else?
I thought that was a great call. So that's a good idea. I'm up for it.
Yeah, one last thing after the Scottsdale Owners Club retreat or during it, remember we got the tripod? Like,
Yes.
and I hated that moment. Like I remember it and I was like, oh, this is horrible. An introvert's nightmare.
Right.
But I've done a video a week on YouTube and
Yeah.
I'm 6 months. But what's kind of crazy is now that compound effect is starting to kick in on the channel because I could see the analytics,
Sure.
like the percent of like people viewing from Kajabi versus the YouTube algorithm. And the past like month of just doing these videos, even some underwriting, it's kind of crazy what is starting to happen.
Nice.
That's why I keep mentioning like these underwriting videos together because a lot of people and the reason I gravitated to Michael so quick and just why I'm even here is he knew how to underwrite better than anyone else I could see. And it was
Right.
systematic. And it's like when you can show on your YouTube 5, 10 videos of like, hey, these are deals I passed on because they didn't meet my standard.
Mm-hmm.
Those PMLs and PMPs, and I know you said you had capital, but it just like it's powerful.
So I was just on Julie Colot's podcast, it was recorded a couple weeks ago, but it just launched this week. So I hear what you're saying, man. I've been good about recording content, but I haven't been putting it out there so much. So that's kind of my next phase is to start editing this stuff and put it out. But I know we're told to use, I think it's StreamYard or something to like just have it go live. So that's probably my next step. So anyone that wants to connect on like an underwriting call, let's do that. So it just gets out to YouTube kind of on its own, right?
Yeah, just throw it in cyberspace.
Yeah.
So, well, cool guys. I
Cool, man.
appreciate
Appreciate the advice.
brainstorming. Yeah, we need to let's do an underwriting together.
For sure,
I
man.
need I need more of that content. I've done a lot of interviews content, so I'm shifting.
To underwriting.
So
Okay. Gotcha.
more of it, yeah.